Yeah, no. July, August, I'm
Hey, roll on one.
sweating
Roll on one.
so bad. It is.
Good.
Last year was just different heat though. That was a different kind of hot. I don't know. Growing up here, it was definitely a different heat dome for sure. They're almost done with traffic though, so they'll come to us as soon as. And then we'll be good here for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at 9:30 says we're going to give the press conference?
Yeah.
Okay. And then John, you said Johnny's not on scene right now, right?
He's not.
Okay.
So I was trying to call him just now.
Gotcha. Probably got a earlier call than he expected to.
He did. I guess he didn't know about this.
Okay.
I called him from out here. I'm like, hey, you coming out? Where?
Okay, they just finished traffic.
You can come through.
So start on you.
Yes, Sheriff Salazar has joined us here on scene. Sheriff, obviously there's a lot that we don't know right now, so I just want to ask you, what do we know about this SWAT scene?
Well, it's been a busy morning for us. About 6:15, we executed a warrant out here with several of our partners, DEA, SAPD's out here, as well as DPS. But one of our detectives from the sheriff's office executed a warrant here, and what we're looking for is drugs and weapons. We have already found a little bit of both. There are some weapons here that we believe to be fully automatic, and so definitely, while we're still inventorying, we do have some dangerous objects in there for certain. But I want everybody to know the situation is neutral out here right now. Everybody's safe and secured. We're just going to take our time searching.
We saw some people a couple houses down who appeared to be in handcuffs or appeared to at least just be questioned. Are those part of the suspects that you guys have been looking for? And if so, did they try running? Is that why there are a couple houses down?
We did. They did try running out the back, and I think we've got about 5 to 7 people detained right now, several of them with violent felony warrants. But we had air support overhead that was calling out people as they were running into a greenbelt. We do have in that back greenbelt some stolen cars as well, and that's where some of the automatic weapons were found.
Is there any indication, I know this is very early in this situation, but is there any indication that any of these people are repeat offenders?
Oh, absolutely. The fact that several of these guys have extensive criminal histories and, again, some felony warrants, these are definitely people that we would not want living just in a community like this.
Sheriff, last question real fast before, I know at 9:30 we're going to get some more updated information as well, but just going through this particular house, I mean, I'm sure there are things, like you said, that you're finding that are stolen. I think it's just a reminder that, these things, lock your cars, your houses, whatever it is, because if these things can get stolen, vehicles, and it sounds like potentially weapons as well?
Absolutely. It's important to never leave weapons in vehicles, anything of value in vehicles, really. We've actually found some stuff here that looks like it might belong to a local law enforcement agency. So these people, if they're going to break into a police car, they will absolutely break into your car, my car, anybody's car. So it's important not to leave things in vehicles.
Do you have any indication of what force that's for?
Well, right now I wouldn't want to part with that information, but I've already been in contact with the agency head, and we're trying to identify property.
All right. Sheriff, thank you so much for joining us, and
Thank
we'll
you.
see you at 9:30 for more information on that. So, Yami, Robert, obviously a lot of details that we are still figuring out. Sheriff Javier Salazar with Bexar County was kind enough to join us and fill us in on some of those details. But 9:30 is when we're going to have a press conference out here in this area, and we are going to learn, I'm sure, much more about what they're looking for right now. They're inside of the house. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office is. Several deputies going through that home that we were able to see with our cameras. Lots of people out here, lots of neighbors taking a look at the scene, what's going on. But again, just keep an eye out for traffic in this area, whether it's via buses or school buses. We've seen some coming through, but again, we can imagine that there may be some delays. Reporting from San Antonio, I'm Amanda Henderson. they said they're streaming, just so you know. They already took care of it. Mic check, 1 2. Hi, for anybody who is watching on the News for San Antonio, Fox San Antonio Facebook stream, hold on 1 second. Check, 1 2. Hi, so sorry for that pause there. We had to quickly get some video. We are the crew that's out here on scene with News 4 San Antonio and Fox San Antonio. So if you're watching on our Facebook live stream, we just want to kind of catch you up on what is going on out here off of Port Victoria Street. So around 6:15 this morning, Sheriff Javier Salazar, Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar tells us that there was a warrant put out, a warrant served. To make a long story short, they are dealing with a number of people they have detained who the sheriff says does include repeat offenders. They found drugs, according to him. They found stolen guns, according to him, and stolen cars, according to him. So the sheriff did an interview with us live on air about 10 minutes ago or so, running through all of this. So if you saw this, this is just a quick recap. If you missed it, drop your questions in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them as I can. But we've seen a number of deputies going in and out of this home. Again, from what the sheriff told us in the live interview that we did, there were drugs found in this home. There were stolen guns found, stolen weapons, I should say, and stolen vehicles. And from what we understand from the sheriff, some of those stolen weapons belong to local agencies. He says they have been in touch with the head of those agencies and has been communicating with them about where they should, be able to get the information on all of this. So if you guys have questions, please drop them in the comments. I will do my best to answer them, but we are expecting to learn more at 9:30 this morning, 9:30. Check, mic check, 1 2. Hi, for everybody who is watching on our Facebook Lives on News 4 San Antonio and Fox San Antonio, we are on the southwest side of Bexar County. We are out here off of Port Victoria Street, where a SWAT situation was happening as early as 6:15 this morning. There was a warrant that was being served. It resulted in multiple people detained. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office is out here on the scene. If you missed our live interview with Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar a little earlier, let me quickly just recap for you what we know right now. And just to put this in context, there will be a press conference here in about a half hour or so, around 9:30.
Hello.
There will be a press conference. Hang on 1 second, guys.
Again?
Yeah, just so who moved you out here?
Check, 1 2, mic check. Hi, apologies for that. We might have to move here in a second, so just bear with us. We are just figuring out if we're going to stay in this spot, if we're going to be moved back a little bit further. But we, again, are on the southwest side of Bexar County, off of Port Victoria Street, where, just a quick recap, you missed our live interview with Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar a little earlier. There was a SWAT situation that started here around 6:15 this morning when a warrant was being served. It resulted in several people being detained. Sheriff Javier Salazar is saying that those people were actually running from this house that you see on our Facebook Live right now. They ran out from what they believe is the back side of the house. They were able to detain multiple people, and they, at this time, tell us that this is coming from Sheriff Salazar. He says that there were drugs found in the house. He says there were weapons found in the house, and he says there were stolen vehicles found at this property. And he did say that some of the weapons that were found belonged to a local agency. So we're keeping an eye on that. He says at this time that agency has been contacted, and they are going through the next steps to be able to get them all the information that they may need or be requesting. But from what we've been able to see from our vantage point is there's been a lot of deputies going in and out of the house. So stay tuned with us. We are going to have the very latest from a press conference that we're expecting to start here within the next 20 minutes or so. Check, check, 1 2 1 2, mic check. For anyone watching our Facebook live stream, just want to give y'all a quick update. We are about 10 minutes or so away from the 9:30 press conference that we've been talking about on this live stream. And just so y'all know, this is southwest Bexar County, where a SWAT situation happened a little bit earlier this morning. There was a warrant that was served at this house that you see with the green roof. You see deputies have been going in and out of the house all morning, including these that you see right here. There have been a number of things that the sheriff told us when we interviewed him a little earlier during our show. He told us that inside of this house there were a number of people who ran out of what they believe is the back of the house, which is why when we first arrived on scene we saw them a couple houses down to our right, and they were all on the ground being detained. And so for those of you who have missed our previous recaps, let me just go through it really quickly. From Sheriff Salazar a little earlier, he told us that when they went inside of that house, they did find drugs, they found stolen weapons, they found stolen vehicles. And so at least one of those stolen weapons, he says, belongs to a local agency. So they've been in contact with them, being able to get them all the information that they need. Again, this is in southwest Bexar County off of Port Victoria Road. So if you have a bus that goes through this route, or you have a school bus that goes through this route, since this started so early in the morning, just expect delays, because from where I'm standing, at least part of the street is blocked off. So hang tight. We'll have more information here in about 10 minutes or so, we expect. And we will bring it to you live through this Facebook Live and on our website.
carry it on you today. Huh?
Yeah, here, I got other pockets up here. Just don't know.
Mind if I touch you?
No worries.
You just carry a backpack. We can just toss them all in the backpack.
Right here for you.
One more for you.
You know, just a free pocket somewhere.
Sure it's turned on too.
Put this on your side.
Or here you go. Just, you can throw it in the back pocket. Right here. Are you all ready? Yeah? Okay. Well, good morning. We're in the 9200 block of Port Victoria, where this morning BCSO deputies from our organized crime group, accompanied by DEA, DPS, SAPD, several other agencies from the TAG office, executed a joint warrant. We were looking for guns, and that's exactly what we found this morning. We have got small, probably a low felony amount of marijuana, but what we were really looking for was guns. We did find several weapons that we believe to be equipped with switches that would make them fully automatic weapons. A lot of those weapons that contained the switches, that had the switches attached, are believed to be stolen as well. We also encountered some what appears to be stolen recovered police equipment that was taken from a burglary vehicle from one of the school district police departments not too long ago. So we've recovered some of that equipment. We're still going to be here for another couple of hours probably. But additionally, we've got at least 2 people that are going to be going to jail this morning, possibly 3. At least one of those has a felony warrant for an aggravated assault. That's most likely unrelated to this, but he was here among the other suspects that we arrested this morning. It is quite possible that some of these people are going to be facing federal charges in connection with the weapons that were found. Esta mañana el Departamento del Sheriff, acompañados por varias agencias federales, la DEA, la Policía Estatal, ejecutamos una orden de cateo aquí y ya entrando nos encontramos con varios sospechosos, uno de ellos con una orden de arresto por un asalto con agravantes. También nos encontramos con varias armas robadas. Equipo, herramienta de policía, esas herramientas también se aparenta que son robadas. Ahorita varias personas se enfrentan con cargos, cuando menos 2 o 3 van a ir a la cárcel este día. También las armas parecen que son automáticas, ametralladoras que nosotros también encontramos. Entonces varias personas se van a enfrentar con cargos, hasta cargos federales van a ser posibles. Any questions?
What do you think they were going to do with all those weapons?
Well, I mean, it's quite possible that they were going to be used to commit crimes here locally, but additionally, we've got some information that some of these weapons were making their way south. In other words, going across the border to Mexico.
How many weapons do you guys have?
There's probably at least a dozen. A lot of those are non-functioning, broken older weapons, but some of them are stolen semi-automatic pistols that appear to have been converted to fully automatic with the addition of a switch on the back of those guns. Sí, nosotros encontramos varias armas que son semiautomáticas, pero se aparenta que les pusieron una herramienta que nosotros le decimos un switch, donde esa herramienta convierte esa arma a ametralladora.
Sheriff, we just saw what appeared to be someone in handcuffs walk behind you, and we saw another one over here. Do we have the ages or the names of either of these people?
We'll be giving you all those names later today, once we get everything sorted out on who's going to jail on what charges. But at least one of those people does have a felony warrant for a violent felony.
Are they all adults?
I believe they're all adults. Yes, sir.
Sheriff, can you speak on any other stolen property on the property?
We've got at least some property that's here that appears to be stolen from one of the school district police departments. I believe they had a burglar vehicle recently. I'm not sure if it was in the last couple of weeks, but we do have what appears to be stolen police equipment inside there as well.
Since it was going south, could there be any cartel connection here? You think?
Oh, absolutely. I think anytime that you see, drugs coming north or weapons or money going south, there's absolutely going to be a cartel connection. So certainly wouldn't shock me to find that out.
¿Me podría repetir eso en español?
Sí, nosotros ahorita tenemos información que algunas de estas armas iban al sur, hacia México. Entonces ya cuando se trata de drogas viniendo al norte o armas y dinero en efectivo yendo para el sur, obviamente ahí vamos a tener conexión a un cuartel.
Sheriff, when we spoke this morning, you had mentioned the possibility of stolen vehicles as well. Is there any more
Yes,
information about that?
absolutely. We do have at least 2 stolen Dodge Chargers in the back, and I believe they're in a green belt that's immediately behind these houses. So 2 stolen Dodge Chargers, and I believe there was at least 1 other stolen SUV. I'm not quite certain on the brand on that.
Can you talk about when you served the warrant, or did anybody put up a fight, try to run?
We did have several try to run into the wooded areas. One of the suspects took refuge in one of the SUVs that was in the back in that green belt. But unbeknownst to him, we had air support calling out where he was going. They were able to watch him. We had at least 2 of our drones in the air, and then DPS 107, the DPS helicopter. So they were monitoring his movement at all times. Ultimately, the vehicle that he took refuge in is where some of these weapons were found with the switches. So clearly this subject had some access to some pretty impressive firepower. Thankfully, he gave up without a fight.
How big of an operation was it, Sheriff?
I mean, there's indicators here that there's probably weapons moving in and out of here a lot. So at present, I think we've got maybe a dozen firearms that were found, but it wouldn't surprise me to know that dozens of weapons are making their way through here on a daily basis.
En español, por favor.
Sí, nosotros encontramos aproximadamente 2 o 12 armas ahorita, pero nosotros no me sorprendería darme cuenta que hay más armas que van pasando por esta operación.
Sheriff, what put this home on y'all's radar and how long has it been there?
It's been an ongoing investigation. Our organized crime group works out of the TAG, the Texas Anti-Gang Center, which is it's a joint operation that all of our local partners, federal, state, and local, are represented there. So it's been going on for some time. I wouldn't be able to say exactly how long, but I can tell you this has been an ongoing investigation.
You mentioned possible ties to gangs outside of the United States. Do we know if they have anything to do with the gangs that you guys have been closely watching out of Venezuela and Ecuador?
At this point, it's too early to tell. I believe right now the only links that we have are immediately to Mexican drug cartels.
Are you believing any other homes might be connected to this operation?
I mean, it's quite possible. A lot of the folks that you see standing behind me are relatives, and so it's quite possible that there's connections here.
Who was inside the house when you guys got here?
I'm sorry?
Who was inside the house when you guys got here?
There was about 5 to 7 people inside the house, to include some small children, but when our SWAT team initially got here, we did what's called a surround and call out. So we didn't initially make a dynamic entry. What we did was we put our armored vehicle in the front. We surrounded the house with SWAT operators and air coverage, and then started calling people out. Now, some of those people did cooperate, but as I mentioned, at least one fled out the back and into some of the vehicles, but he was caught pretty quickly.
You know, obviously, you always say something. I know ATF has the report for federal firearm, whether it's, they know it's here or have an idea it's
Sure.
here. Is there anything that you want people to know if they're watching this right now?
Sure, people can always call either us or any of our federal partners. ATF is out here on scene right now assisting us. So you can always call, no matter where you are in the county, whether you're in the city limits or in the county itself. You can always give us a call, 210-335-6000. You can also send us an email at bcsotips@bear.org.
And Sheriff, what type of felony is it when it converted to fully automatic?
It's going to be possible that it's a federal charge on that. So that's what we're waiting on right now, is to see if the ATF's willing to pick it up as a federal charge. Ese cargo de tener ametralladoras es posible que va a ser a cargo federal. Entonces ahorita las autoridades federales están aquí en la escena de los hechos, averiguando que si ellos van a tomar ese cargo como caso federal.
Quick two-part question. Do we know the school district from which the items were stolen from? And if so, do we know if they made a report to either y'all or SAPD?
It's Northside ISD, and we've been in contact with authorities from Northside. I believe it was stolen from a car at a officer's residence, and I believe that BCSO did take the report on that initial theft.
Vest or what?
What I could see was there was a gear bag, there was at least a raincoat, and we do have some information that there was a ballistic shield that was taken, and right now we're trying to determine if we have that shield in our custody.
Do we know when the theft took place by any chance from Northside ISD?
I don't. I think it's been a couple of weeks, and then we've also got some body armor, rifle plates, what we call rifle plates. So this vest that I'm wearing is actually just regular run-of-the-mill ballistic body armor, but the rifle plates that we carry are a lot more substantial, a lot heavier. We've actually got some in there that appear to be outfitted for tactical use. It's possible that those came from a law enforcement agency, but we're still trying to determine. There's no obvious markings at this point to indicate that.
Señor, ¿cuánto tiempo tenían ya organizando este operativo?
Bueno, nosotros tenemos esa unidad donde trabajamos con socios de varias agencias. Le puedo decir que esta investigación ha sido activa por varias semanas, pero no le puedo dar mucha información cuánto tiempo exactamente.
¿Podría estar relacionada con algunas otras investigaciones en el futuro?
Oh, sí, pues obviamente todas estas investigaciones están relacionadas a otras, entonces ahorita se tiene que averiguar cuáles otros casos sean afectados. Okay, thank you all so much.
Let's get our wires now.
I don't know whose is what, man, so grab something.
Thank you.
This was very useful.
I'll just start wearing it from now on.
Yeah, no kidding. This was
Fanny pack can go a long way.
thank you.